A century ago, there were four tribes: air, earth, water, and fire, who lived in harmony with each other. However, this peace was shattered when the fire tribe launched an attack on the other tribes. Amidst the chaos, a single individual emerged as a savior who possessed the ability to communicate with the spirit world and command all four elements. This person became known as the Avatar, and they were able to restore peace to the tribes. However, the Avatar has been missing for the last 100 years, and the world is once again in turmoil. The tale commences in a frigid southern water village located on an ice-covered plateau. It features two siblings, Sokka and Katara, who are hunting for food. Both hail from the Southern Water Tribe, but their parents met an untimely demise at the hands of the Fire Nation. As a result, Katara is the sole remaining person in the village with the ability to manipulate the water element. However, she has yet to fully master this skill. During their hunt, Katara's lack of control over her waterbending abilities often resulted in getting her brother's clothes wet. As they tracked seals, the trail led them to a frozen lake where the tracks abruptly ended, and a strange glowing light emanated from the surface. Sokka's curiosity led him to attempt breaking the ice, but instead, he caused deep cracks to appear, and a massive ice ball emerged from within the lake. In response, Katara utilized Sokka's boomerang to strike the ice ball. When Katara struck the ice ball with Sokka's boomerang, it caused a powerful blast that sent her flying backward. As a result, the ice chunk shattered, revealing a brilliant light. Once the light dissipated, Sokka and Katara approached the area to investigate. To their surprise, they discovered a young, bald boy and a massive animal lying in the cold. Concerned for their well-being, the siblings decided to bring them back to their village and offer assistance. When Katara saw the young boy, she noticed a tattoo on his body and asked him how he ended up frozen in the ice. However, before he could answer her question, the boy expressed gratitude for their help. He went on to explain that he and his animal were traveling when they got caught in a storm and crashed into the lake. Sokka then interjected, informing the boy that they needed to hide from the approaching Fire Nation. He had been carrying a child and seeking shelter in the igloos. The soldiers from the Fire Nation were searching for the source of a light that had been seen earlier. Zuko, the leader of the troops, ordered his soldiers to round up all the people in the area, including Katara and Seiko's grandmother. Katara was on the verge of doing something reckless to protect herself, but Seiko intervened and prevented any further danger. In another location, a bald boy was hiding in an igloo while one of the Fire Nation soldiers searched for him. The soldier became suspicious of the boy because of his unusual clothing. Upon noticing a peculiar tattoo on a child's head, a soldier relinquished custody of the child to Zuko. The child, who was a bald boy, requested to be allowed to leave if Zuko intended to take him onto the ship. Zuko granted the request. Katara and Sokka were unable to intervene as their village was at risk of being set ablaze if they did so, and thus watched helplessly as the bald boy was taken away. Once the fire troops had departed, Katara grew concerned about the bald boy's safety and resolved to rescue him. She implored his brother to help, but Sokka was overwhelmed with a sense of helplessness, as he believed there was little he could do to aid in the boy's rescue. Suddenly, they heard the sound of a child's excited voice from outside. They rushed out to investigate and discovered that the child was swinging from the feet of a massive floating bison. The notion came up to rescue the hairless child by employing the bison while seeking approval from their grandmother. Let's discuss the Avatar, who possesses the ability to manipulate four elements simultaneously on Earth, and why the Fire Nation was thrilled about their arrival. At the same time, Uncle Zuko, who was inside the vessel, protested the Avatar's identification and lit a candle with a burning flame to demonstrate his heroism. The flame grew more intense, and when water was poured on it, it pooled around the fire. The rocks placed nearby also reacted to the spectacle. Witnessing these incredible happenings, everyone paid homage to the Avatar, who had been missing for a century, and who they believed was the most sought-after discovery by the Fire Nation. However, Zuko compelled the Avatar to join the Fire Nation so he could be handed over to the Fire Lord, who happened to be Zuko's own father. The Avatar refuses to comply with something and attempts to escape. After successfully escaping, he reunites with his friend Sokka and a character named Guitar, and they witness a prisoner escaping as well. Another character named Ira tries to prevent the Avatar's enemy, Zuko, from becoming too emotional and losing his temper. Later, the Avatar invites Sokka and a character named Katara to his village, which is located on a mountain and home to a tribe of airbenders who live in a temple on a hill. Avatar, unaware that his friends and the temple monks have been killed by the Fire Nation, arrives at the village to find it empty except for white flying animals. He introduces himself as the Avatar and his flying bull as Appa to Katara and Sokka. As he explores the village, he becomes increasingly uneasy and starts calling out for Katara. Meanwhile, Katara has just realized something important. In a hushed tone, Katara approached Aang and shared with him the tragic history of the Fire Nation's annihilation of the Airbenders, as they knew the Avatar would be born from among them. She was certain that Aang had been frozen in ice during that time and was just returning to his village now. However, Aang found it hard to believe as he felt like he had only left his village yesterday, and he began to suspect that Katara was lying to him. Upon discovering a necklace belonging to his deceased friend, Aang is devastated and realizes that he may be the only surviving airbender left. Overwhelmed with emotion, Aang enters a state of intense grief. In this state, he enters his subconscious and has a vision of being connected to a dragon spirit. However, he is brought back to reality by Katara calling out his name repeatedly. While aboard a warship in Fire Nation territory, Zuko and Ira are invited to dine with Commander Zhao. However, before the meal begins, Zhao publicly humiliates Zuko in front of his troops, taunting him for being weak and abandoned by his father. Zhao states that Zuko will only be accepted back by his father if he successfully captures the Avatar. Commander Zhao's sarcastic remarks ignite anger within Zuko, who vows to bring Zhao to his knees and capture the Avatar. Meanwhile, on their journey, Aang, Katara, and Sokka encounter a Fire Nation warrior who is chasing after a girl. The girl seeks refuge with them and conceals her identity as an Avatar by covering her forehead tattoo with her hoodie in order to protect herself. Katara attempts to use her bending skills to fend off the Fire Nation troops, but unfortunately, Sokka becomes a victim in the process. Eventually, they are all captured and taken to a nearby village of Earthbenders who are enslaved by the Fire Nation. The Earthbenders are forced to work for the Fire Nation, day and night, under oppressive conditions. Aang, Katara, and Sokka try to rally the Earthbenders to rebel against their oppressors and rise up against the Fire Nation. Aang reveals himself as the Avatar to the Earthbenders and promises to help them free their village from Fire Nation occupation. However, he admits that he is not yet strong enough, as he has only mastered the wind element but not the other three elements. Aang shares that when he was told that he was the next Avatar, he ran away because he was overwhelmed by the immense responsibility that came with it. Nevertheless, he now understands that it is his duty to bring balance to the four nations and is determined to do so. With the help of his friends and the Earthbenders, they succeed in liberating the village from Fire Nation control. After liberating the village, Aang's teacher suggests training him to master the other three elements. However, Sokka suggests embarking on a journey to find a teacher who can teach Aang the other elements so they don't waste any time. They set out on their journey and come across a region where a child has helped the residents rebel against the Fire Nation and drive out their army. The child is hailed as a hero, and the king of the region mentions the child's bravery to Aang, Katara, and Sokka. While resting, Aang decides to leave Sokka and Katara to meditate at the Wind Temple in the north with Appa. Upon arriving, an old monk who guards the temple realizes that Aang is the Avatar and welcomes him. The monk shows Aang statues of the past Avatars, and Aang begins to watch them with great interest. Suddenly, the old monk apologizes and reveals that he had fallen into Commander Zhao's trap. He is then taken to a room and tied up in chains. Aang tries to enter the Avatar state to seek guidance from the Dragon Spirit. The Dragon Spirit instructs Aang to go to the Northern Water Tribe, where a powerful waterbender can teach him how to master his skills as an Avatar. After communicating with the Dragon Spirit, Aang opens his eyes to find Commander Zhao standing in front of him. Commander Zhao is surprised to see that the Avatar, who should be hundreds of years old, is just a child. He confirms that Aang is indeed the Avatar and has him shackled. Commander Zhao then addresses the entire Fire Nation army, stating that the Avatar poses no threat to them. During Zhao's speech, a masked figure attempted to infiltrate the room, taking down guards one by one. The intruder managed to reach Zhao and attempted to free him, but Commander Zhao intervened, stopping the escape attempt. The mysterious figure had no way to escape, and thus Zhao confronted them directly. Following the confrontation with the intruder, the Avatar resumed his journey with Katara and Sokka as directed by the Dragon Spirit to head to the Northern Water Kingdom, which is situated in the Northern Hemisphere. Upon hearing this news, the King of the Fire Kingdom immediately mobilized his vast army to pursue the Avatar and also to prepare for an invasion of the Northern Water Kingdom, a region that had never been conquered before. Soon after, Aang and his companions reached the Northern Palace, which belonged to the Water Kingdom. They presented themselves to the princess and other royal dignitaries, and Aang revealed that he was the Avatar, the sole surviving airbender honored by the royal family. The group was granted permission to stay and hone their waterbending skills under the guidance of a skilled waterbending master. With the aid of a tense and focused atmosphere, they made significant progress in mastering this element in a short period of time. Sokka attempted to uplift the atmosphere by accompanying Princess Hui for a stroll. They shared anecdotes about their respective water tribes' lives, and it seemed like they were developing feelings for one another. However, their peaceful moment was abruptly interrupted when the Fire Nation arrived with a formidable fleet of warships, poised to invade the region after traversing the vast oceans. As Commander Zhao's troops were approaching, Zuko took matters into his own hands and embarked on a mission to find the Avatar. He navigated through the underwater passage to reach the stronghold ahead of his rival. While the Water Kingdom was preoccupied with military preparations, Zuko had his sights set on a different destination. With your help, he was led to a sacred location revered by the Northern Water Tribe, where he could meditate and attempt to commune with the Dragon Spirit. After that, you and Sokka returned to see the emergency situation outside, while Katara chose to stay where he was to meditate. Not long after that, Zuko, who followed them, appeared while carrying a torch to attack Katara. Well, after defeating Katara, Zuko then brought him whose consciousness was in somewhere else and returns to see the Dragon Spirit to ask how to defeat the Fire Nation. The Dragon Spirit urges the protagonist not to harm anyone, despite the widespread chaos caused by the Fire Nation. It's important to remember that not all residents of the Fire Nation are inherently evil, and only some individuals contribute to its negative reputation. As the Avatar, it's crucial to maintain balance with the Dragon Spirit and use strategic tactics to end the war. The ultimate solution to stopping the war lies in utilizing ocean water. Aang woke up to find himself already tied up and saw Zuko standing nearby. He immediately tried to escape. Meanwhile, the situation outside was becoming increasingly tumultuous as Fire Nation soldiers began invading the fort amid the ongoing war. Commander Zhao informed Iroh that he had discovered information about the weaknesses of waterbenders just as he was fighting Zuko. Fortunately, Katara arrived to aid Aang using her waterbending skills. After Katara used her waterbending skills to freeze Zuko, Commander Zhao realized that waterbenders' abilities were strengthened during a full moon. He quickly developed a plan to locate the incarnation of the Moon Spirit, which is the source of the waterbenders' power. Upon arrival, he drew up a floor plan to track its location. Despite General Iroh's warning that it could upset the world's balance, Zhao captured the fish and attempted to harm it. Despite General Iroh's warning, Zhao went ahead and captured the spirit fish, causing the waterbenders to lose their abilities. General Iroh became furious and Zhao fled. Witnessing the devastation caused by the loss of the spirit fish, Princess Yi was overcome with sadness. She was willing to sacrifice herself to prevent her people from being colonized by the Fire Nation. Sarkar, who had initially met Princess Yi with feelings of love, was deeply affected by her plight. In the absence of any other way to revive the spirit fish and restore the waterbenders' abilities, Princess Yi ultimately sacrificed herself. Once the waterbenders regained their abilities, they immediately confronted Zhao. In the ensuing confrontation, Zhao was killed by their hands. Despite the victory over the Fire Nation, Aang was still struggling to control his waterbending abilities. As he pondered his situation, he thought about his friends and teachers who had suffered because of him. As the Avatar, he was born with a deep connection to the elements, and sometimes that power was overwhelming. Eventually, with his friends' support and guidance, Aang was able to harness his powers and expel the Fire Nation ships, ultimately bringing an end to the war. Later on, Katara and Sokka assisted Aang in descending the stairs. The film concluded by showing the Northern Water Tribe and Fire Nation troops gathering to pay their respects and acknowledge Aang as their avatar, awaiting the arrival of aid. And that was the storyline of The Last Airbender. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.